bit of an intro then, I guess, about Smile.io. So we power about 20,000 rewards programs around the world. So a reward program is something like the Shoppers Optimum program, Starbucks VIP. We actually power Million Jars rewards program. So what we've done is we built a SaaS company in downtown Kitchener. A year ago we had about 18 people. A year before that we had about 10 people. Okay. Yeah, so a year before that we had 10 people, a year before that we had 5 people. So that means we had to make a lot of hiring decisions along the way. So this is how we made those hiring decisions, making sure that we're building a world-class team. And the big thing you have to do when you're building a world-class team is make sure you're not building a minor league team. If any of you are familiar with baseball, you would know that the Blue Jays have their major league team, then they have their minor league team. It's very, very easy to hire minor league people for your company. And so we'll go into how to avoid that and how we avoid it at Smile. So this is our growth, which I already went through when I was making things up. And this is the team that we've hired. So each one of these, I've had to make a hiring decision. Do I bring this person on the team or do I not? And it may seem like those are reversible decisions, but they're so costly in terms of time and resources that a bad decision when you're under 50 people can very, very much be the thing that takes your company from being successful or not. So there's 3 things to build a company, and this is how I came to the decision to talk about this. The first is very solvable. Pick a big market and find some problem in that market that needs to be solved. So airline tickets, a lot of people miss their flights, and that seems to happen quite a bit. All right, so that's easily figured out. Next thing is amazing product. Basically hunker down in your basement and solve that problem that you figured out in the first step. Third thing though, there seems to be almost no insight into how to build an amazing team. And that's something that you basically have to figure out unless you pay attention to a lot of blogs about hiring, a lot of HR practices. There's not really much out there for how do you build an amazing team versus not. And we'll get into what the details of those are, but really this is how you go from 2 people, do a bunch of things in the middle, and then get to a 500-person successful company. That's what we're talking about. And the decisions here apply to companies of every level. So when you're 1 person and you're looking for your co-founder, that's a decision you have to make. When you're 500 people looking for your 501st person, that's a decision you have to make. And the biggest thing that people mess up is what is world-class. And world-class, the mark of a world-class person when I'm interviewing someone is someone who teaches me something during the interview process. If there's nothing else that you take out of this, remember that. They will teach you something during the interview process, either about your business or their field or something. You'll come out of that interview smarter than when you went in. So our process that we follow at Smile is basically 4 steps. So do the work yourself. If you're hiring for a co-founder, make sure you do that co-founder's job before they do. If you're hiring a sales leader, make sure you do sales before they do. This allows you to get into the nitty-gritty of what that role actually will be. So a fun fact about our company is I was actually answering support tickets until about a year and a half ago, and I still answer them like today, but I was doing it full-time. I was doing all the support tickets a year and a half ago. So then what that allowed me to do is not get sort of I would say, like, I wouldn't be able to hire someone who wouldn't be able to handle the support load of tickets that I had just experienced. So the next thing you do is talk with lots of people. So you want to talk with people who are recommended by the best people you know. Find the smartest people you know and say, who are the people that you know in marketing that we should be talking with? Next thing you do is come up with a job description based on that, even if it's for you to use internally. That could be your co-founder's job description, your head of sales, whatever. And then go and talk with even more people. And what you do by following this process is exposing yourself to the best in the field, literally asking the smartest people you know, who are the best people they know, and then write your job description based on that. A lot of people start with a job description and then go from there, and that's how you mess up. So there's 2 things that I want you to come away from this with. The first one is hiring a minor league team is fatal. Even though it appears reversible, it actually will stall your company out at some point. So don't do this. But then the second thing, and this is, in addition to learning something in every interview, this is what every single person that we've hired at Smile has exhibited. The fact that we can't wait for them to start on their first day. Like, we can't wait to work with them. We can't wait for them to show up on that Monday morning at 11 a.m. we get new hires to show up a little later so we can get organized before they get there. But basically everyone here that you see in this picture has passed that test. They've taught me something during the interview, and I've been excited for them to start on the first day. And that's how we built a world-class team. Thanks a lot.
All right, with each speaker, we'll have time for a few questions. Are there any questions in the audience?
So we can all guess how fatal the minor league is. Can you give us a couple of examples of what either you avoided or what you thought might have happened?
Do you mean what a minor league person looks like, or what we...
Consequences.
Okay. So I thought I was answering the first one when I first started talking. So a minor league person is basically someone who shows up and gets the job done. Great. That is a minor league person. The consequences of that is that things are rapidly changing in a startup. So the job that you hire someone for will look a lot different 6 months from now, a lot different 12 months from now. You need someone who cares enough and is on the leading edge of whatever their functional area is, that they can adapt with the changes. And what happens as the consequences of hiring someone who's not major league or not world class is that they don't adapt to the change, and then you lose all that productivity. First, for you to realize that something's happening, and then second, for the lead time for hiring someone new. And that's 6, 9, 12 months. And if you think about the window of opportunity that your startup has, probably 2 years, 3 years, whatever, that's 33% of your window of opportunity. And that's one hire. So that's why we spend so much time on the hiring process. Yes?
Just some pieces around the interview process. So interviews can be garbage. Yeah, falsified situations. So what do you do to cut through the clutter there?
Okay, so we do a really unique interviewing process at Smile. So we have the first interview, which is basically, can I stand being in the same room as this person? Yes, okay, great, let's go to the next interview. The next interview actually happens over Slack. So we add that person to our internal company Slack channel, and we add them in, and then we give them a project over Slack. That allows us to see things like their grammar, their response times, their etiquette in conversations over the primary method that we use to communicate as a company. And then we work through a problem together, similar to how we would do so in their job. So that is such a leading indicator of how we would work together. And if we're learning things from them during that process, the response times are good, the grammar's good, everything's sort of like on point and in line with our culture, then they pass all that test. But we don't do the standard like, hey, how many golf balls fit in a school bus type of stuff. We do very, very functional stuff. Teach us something about our business. If it's a product manager, what feature would we build next? Like very, very functional stuff. Spec it out, let's do it over Slack. Very, very functional, very like almost a simulation of what they would be doing. And we can see it in real time.
Any last questions?
Can you share a story of your best hire experience and why it was your best?
Our best hiring experience. Okay, so one unique thing about us is a quarter to a third of our team is actually remote. So they're based around the world. And I interviewed this girl named Antonella, and she could barely speak English, but as soon as we got past the language barrier, the UX designs, the graphic designs that she did were amazing. And she fit in culturally. As soon as she was in our company chat, we were getting along. So I basically had to see past that initial interview where a lot of people would fail. It's a language barrier, different country. We're gonna be paying in US dollars. We've got to figure out all the stupid HR stuff to make that happen. But we were able to see past that because the cultural fit was so strong once we started doing the project. And now she's our senior product designer. And she's actually visiting us this week, but she's been with us for 1.5 years. It's been a huge difference. Many of you probably know us as the previous name of our company, Sweet Tooth. She actually designed our logo. So she's had a huge impact on our company. But I saw that she was world-class through a bunch of distractions. So I would say that's the one for us. But for you, it could be a co-founder, it could be your head of sales, it could be a head of marketing, it could be whatever. But it's going to be someone who has an outsized impact on your company.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks a lot.